Hey guys, so today I'm doing a very outdated tag, but I just felt like doing it anyways because I liked the questions and I was tagged in it by Rachel Ray Reads. So I'm going to be doing the back to school tag. I know it is mid-October while this video is going up, but whatever. Question 1 is new school year, the start of something new. Pick an awesome debut novel. And for this, what came to mind was The City of Brass. Now, it's kind of unbelievable that this is the author's debut novel because it's an amazing fantasy that has such intricate world building and an intricate magic system with a political system and well-developed characters. How is this your debut novel? I mean, I am so excited to see where the series goes because if the first book is any indication, this author is going to just give some amazing books from this point on. Question 2 is teachers. They're there to teach and guide you. Pick a character that is full of sage-like wisdom. And at first I didn't really know what I was going to do for this, and then it came to me as a very duh moment, and that is the character of Faramir in The Shadow of the Wind, which I actually just finished. Faramir is this incredible character. He says the most eloquent things, and I just love the way he talks. He's honestly hysterical, but he's also so very wise, but he's also bluntly wise. Like, he sees through the heart of things, and he doesn't try to cover it up or sugarcoat things. He'll say point blank what things actually are, and he'll say it how he sees it. He just had such a way of giving sage wisdom and just speaking to the heart of things in the way that no one else really ever wants to say the things that he says, but they actually feel that way. I am not making sense, but that's the character of Faramir, and I thought he definitely met this question. Question 3, favorite subject. Everyone has one class that's their favorite. Recommend a book from your favorite genre. I am throwing it back here to a book that I haven't read in a while. It's actually a whole series, and that's the Winter's Curse series by Marie Rutowski. I really loved these books. When I kind of came back to BookTube, those were the first books I think that I had read when I came back to BookTube, and I fell in love with that whole series. It's a fantasy series, and it's a very politically charged fantasy series. It's a fantasy without magic, so I feel like even fantasy is hard to use as a description for this. If you haven't yet read it, it is a young adult series. There are mixed reviews for it, but I definitely fell into the love category with it. Question 4, syllabus. The basic layout for everything that's going to happen this semester. Pick a book that was predictable. And for me, this was The Wedding Date. This is a rom-com style, like romance contemporary novel that I read a month or 2 months ago, and I gave it 3 stars because it just was too predictable for me. It didn't really bring anything new to the table, and it just was kind of boring for me because it was too predictable. And I really don't mind predictability in a book, but this one really didn't have anything else going for it. It just had all been done before, and that, I'm sorry, I know that there's a lot of people who really loved The Wedding Date, but I just found it to be kind of blah. 5, pencils. I knew I was supposed to be taking notes, but mainly I would just draw. Pick a character who's an artist. So for this, Claire from The Time Traveler's Wife, which that book will tear me up. I don't know why I've ever reread it, because I have, and every time I reread it, I think I never am going to reread this again because it just puts me in such a bad mood, and it really makes me so sad. But the wife, Time Traveler's Wife, she is an artist, and I loved reading about her throughout this whole book and different projects she worked on and just how she lived her life as an artist. I thought it was wonderful, but the whole story in general, it's a big downer. You have to go in like ready for sadness if you're gonna read The Time Traveler's Wife, but I kind of still want to reread it again. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Question 6, books, you know, those things that have all the knowledge in them. What book are you currently reading? So I'm actually reading 2 books right now, one on audio and then 1 physical book, and the one I'm reading physically is Uprooted, and I really am enjoying this so far. It's different from what I was expecting. It's a fantasy story. I'm about halfway through it, and I don't know if it's young adult or adult. I think it's adult because the themes in this book are a little more mature, so maybe it's more like new adult, I'm not sure. I'd heard some really good things about Uprooted, honestly, for years now, and last year I wanted to read Uprooted and I didn't get around to reading it during the fall, especially because I really like fantasies in the fall, and something I really was drawn to from Uprooted was the fact that it's a standalone fantasy, which we really don't see all that much. And then the audiobook I'm listening to, I finally got the Rosamund Pike edition audio of Pride and Prejudice, and I am loving it. I now want to just listen to all of Jane Austen's books on audio, especially by Rosamund Pike, because I'm having such a good time listening to this. Question 7, backpack. I used to cram entirely too much stuff into mine. I pick a book that's had just entirely too much crammed into it. And this is the book I haven't actually ever talked about here on my channel, and that is the final book in the Inheritance cycle by Christopher Paolini, and it's actually called Inheritance. This is book 4, like in the Eragon series. It just lost me. There was so much in there that I found was so unnecessary that I didn't care about. It was an incredibly long book, but so much of it I think wasn't even relevant, didn't do anything for the story. At the time when I read it, I enjoyed it only because I enjoyed the whole series and I really liked everything about Eragon, so I just liked it by extension of it being the 4th book in the series. Maybe I should do a whole reread because it's been so long since I read those books, and I wonder if I will still like them now, because I think when I picked up Eragon I was in 8th grade. And the last is school friends, tag some people to do this tag. And I'm just not going to be tagging people because it is already mid-October and it's too late for me to even be doing this tag. If you want to do this tag, of course, feel free to do so. Like, I'm no shade on anyone else who wants to do this, but I'm just not going to tag anyone because I feel like I am way too late on this tag to tag people. Anyway, that's it for the tag video. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading.